Good morning, beloved ones. Turn to someone and tell them you are blessed and a blessing. You are blessed and a blessing. Yes, you are blessed and a blessing. Yes. Well, beloved ones, you know, it's times like this that we must know and remember that we are blessed and that we can be a blessing, correct? We are blessed and we can be a blessing. Because here we are again in the midst of the fullness of life. Where the full spectrum is visible. From the immense sense of tragedy and suffering on one end, to, of course, the heights of a heart-filled expression of compassion and generosity and the loving essence of humanity on the other end. And while we may witness and grieve on one end, we also want to be about contributing and uplifting on the other end. And sometimes life calls for us to be able to hold the two. You know, to hold our grief and to hold our joy. To hold death and to hold life. It's all a part of that sense of oneness, connectedness. There's a continuum of life that we are a part of, and we're on the same journey. We, of course, here want to take a special offering. We'll be taking a special love offering this morning for the people of Haiti. And, been praying about it. We want to share, of course, with several organizations, with the Red Cross and with the Yale Foundation, with Doctors Without Borders, and with UNICEF as well. So that whatever we receive this week and perhaps in the next few weeks, we will share with those organizations. People have also asked me, what about bringing food and clothing? And I said, we don't have the capabilities right now. We need to explore how best to do that in an organized fashion, because that stuff has to get there. And so we'll be researching whether there are organizations who are receiving those types of gifts and resources, and then we will respond accordingly. So for right now, we're simply going to send our financial resources to those organizations who know how to do what they need to do. And yes. And of course, we as true students will do what we know how to do as well, and that is we will send out prayers, and we will send our consciousness, and we will send our love as well. We will pray, and we will move our feet. We'll do both, all right? You know, I know we all know that life presents us a plethora of everything. Times of sorrow, right? That's what it says in Ecclesiastes, right? There is a time and a season for everything under the heavens. And so we know that life presents us sometimes with times of sorrows, but there is a balance. And we also have our share of joy as well. Both. And speaking of joy, as you know, our wonderful youth have been planning for this day of hosting the Eastern Region's Winter Rally for the YOU. And if you have not felt it as of yet, you need to know that YOU is in the house. YOU! Yes! Yes, YOU is in the house. Yeah. Yes. And not only YOU, but also their sponsors as well. So yeah, that's right. Give the sponsors some love. You know, I know that I want to thank all of you. First of all, I welcome you into our midst. And I want to thank you for bringing your spirit of love and light and peace and most of all, joy We had, so we want to thank you for bringing that here with us and sharing your love and your light with Unity of Washington, D.C. I also want to say something to our own YLU members who are up front here, because I know how, that's right, you all can, well, I know how hard you worked to bring this weekend together. So, yes. And so I thank you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for your leadership. I'm proud of the excellence in which you conducted yourselves this weekend. I had a chance to be here on Friday, and so I got to see you do your thing. And so I just want to thank you for all of the hard work and for being good Unity folk and Unity students. I know that the YOU are going to have a special blessing for everyone this weekend who helped and assisted us. But I also want to acknowledge our sponsors as well, who, through their dedication and their love, work with our YOU. And where's Mary? Yeah. And just a few other people that we have to acknowledge: our security and parking team who got them in here and kept them safe, got them parked. So security and parking team, I see you back there. I thank you guys for that. And you know, we cannot do, I see you, Mary, I thank you as well, but we couldn't do what we did this weekend without, this is the one team, there are several teams that just work every Sunday, but you know what team I'm talking about. This is our hospitality team that fed all these kids. We want to thank our hospitality team. Yeah. And you know, it's a challenge of feeding some hungry teenagers. You know that, right? Their joy is in eating and consuming lots of food to maintain that energy that they have. So I thank our hospitality team for always being on the job and so willing. And I thank Tracy for setting up the sound for they had, we had a go-go gospel group here. And so, yes, we did. Fellowship Hall's never going to be the same because they rock the house. So we want to thank those who came to participate, in Tracy and all the other volunteers who assisted her in doing the music, and Nina. And so it just was a wonderful opportunity for everyone who volunteered, either your time or your talent or your treasure, whether it was carting them to the showers or driving them around or being here, you know, as a chaperone. I thank you all for what you do, what you did for them, because you've all put your love into action. We talk about our love and action teams. You put your love into action. And I know that it has not always been challenging, that it wasn't all just a piece of cake, that there were challenges that you met along the way. But what is more important is that they all served for the glory of God. They rose above the challenges that it takes to put on any type of an event. And they served not only for the glory of God, but for the greater good. For the greater good. And that's what this is all about. That's what tomorrow is about, as we honor and acknowledge and celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. It's how can we serve the greater good? How can we express the higher qualities of being and spirit? How can we express things like justice and freedom and equality and love and peace, see? And service to others? How can we put that? How can we express that in being? And not just for some, but for all people. How can we bring into expression ourselves as a living manifestation of the essence of God? How can we bring heaven here on earth? And for those of you who've not been with us for these last few Sundays, we've been talking about how to fashion our intentions for this brand new year that we're in, the third week. How can we fashion our intentions so that they might be different this year and not necessarily focused on what we want to get in this new year, or what we want to do in this new year, or what we want to achieve in the new year, what our goals are, but more importantly, what we want to be in this new year. That it's not so much about the getting and the doing and the having, but it is primarily about what? The being. Being the thing that we desire. And so we've been looking at that. Knowing, in fact, it is our beingness that actually draws to us, right? The blessings and the goodness that we're seeking. Because we're all seeking blessings, we're all seeking goodness, but it is our beingness that draws it, that brings it. And that God ultimately is the ultimate being. That God is being itself, and that God is absolute good. God is the goodness that we're seeking. So in order for us then, so one way to ensure our blessings would be for us to embody the beingness of God. If God is the ultimate blessing, if God is the ultimate good, the good that we're seeking, then it behooves us to embody the beingness of God, to really know that God and I are one. Not just an intellectual understanding, but what? A knowingness, so that we embody it, which means we bring it into our being, that we become it. Dennis Merritt Jones, in his book, The Art of Being, said this. He said, every human being's purpose is identical. It is to be the Spirit of God manifesting in human condition. In other words, not only are we here to embody the beingness of God, but we are here to express the beingness of God. To embody and to express. Because you can't be anything without expressing. You can't be without expressing. Everything that is an expression. Right now, each of you are expressing something. Just by your being here. You might be expressing peace, you might be expressing joy or sadness, but you are expressing something. You cannot be without also having the expression of that being, of that thing. Hopefully you're expressing and being something that is love and light and filled with joy, that you're not being bored and confused, but you are being an expression. And so, as we really work on embodying all the wonderful qualities of God, here's what happened. Here's the good news. As we strive to embody the qualities of God, of the beingness of God, certain things happen. They start showing up in our lives. We get to then express them more and more easily and naturally. As we embody the qualities of God, they begin to show up in our lives. So as we embody love, we embrace love, and we embody love, and we become love. Guess what? We begin to express what? Love. As we embody peace, we begin to express more what? Peace. As we embody joy, we begin to express more joy. That which we truly embody, we must express. And any quality of God that we embody will find its way into our lives as an expression. That's good news, because now what's happening is now we're going to start to be transformed. When you embody God, then all of a sudden your life is going to be renewed. Be ye renewed by the what? Renewing of your mind. And I would say your heart and your soul and your body. And now all of a sudden things are going to change. When we embody it, we become it, and things look different. All of a sudden we are becoming now the channels for God. We are the channels for the expression and the manifestation of God's essence. God is now working in and through and as us. God is now having its being in and through and as us. We are now channels for good. God is the source, but we become what? The channels. We become the channels because we are embodying the goodness of God. We become the blessing. We become, that wonderful entity, that space, a free space in which God can now flow unhindered by our limitations, unhindered by our frets and sorrows and all that negative. We are now clear and free, and God is able to use us to be us more fully. That's the growth. That's the plan. That's what we're striving for, to be more God-like. So don't be surprised as you begin to mature spiritually and you grow in truth and your understanding. You grow and you raise your consciousness. You begin to lift up your vibration to a higher vibration, to that of the beingness of God. Don't be surprised when all of a sudden you begin to feel compelled to show up differently. You begin to feel that you want to serve more, that you want to give more, that you want to share more, that you actually want to be a blessing. See, when we first start out on our journey of truth, we're about getting the blessings. That's a part of it. We want to make those demonstrations. We want to get that parking space. You know, we want to hit the lottery. We're concentrating on what we can get our blessings, and that's fine. Because it's the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. But as you grow, as you wean yourself off of spiritual milk and you start taking that spiritual meat and you start growing, you will change. That which you desire is going to change. Now you want to be a blessing. You want to be it. It's no longer just about you. Yes. See? It's no longer just about you. It's about the other. All of a sudden, the other takes on meaning. The other takes on value. All of a sudden, you feel connected to something outside of yourself. Oh, the other, another. You see, all of a sudden, we realize we are one with one another. The theme that the YOU chose for this rally, for this winter's rally, is I see the YOU in me. And then they had a subtitle, We Are the World. In other words, what they're saying is that when they see another YOUer, that they are what? Seeing themselves. I see the YOU in me. And likewise, when we begin to see one another, we're really seeing ourselves. I don't know if any of you saw the film The Avatar, but one of the statements that they would say when they greet each other is what? I see you. I see you. See, I see the other. I see you. And because I see you, I see me. I see that we are connected and we are one. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said this. He said, an individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Yes, that's what he... And he also said this. He said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? We must begin to recognize that we are here to love and serve one another, and that's how we love and serve God. Remember last week I said we're only here for God, and that is true. But this is how God moves in and through us, that we might love one another. Because God is in us, we are in others. And that's how we love and serve God. The only commandment that Jesus ever gave was that we should what? Love. It was all about love. Love God. Love your neighbor. Love yourself. Why? Because that's how the beingness of God expresses. As love, through love, in and through every living thing. It is the essence of God. The essence of life is God as love in expression. When Jesus, as the Christ, was preparing to leave, he said this wonderful prayer, powerful prayer. And it's found in John 17. And he's talking to all of his disciples, but he's praying to anyone who will listen, and he's praying to Spirit. He says, I am praying not only for these disciples, but also for all who will ever believe in me because of their testimony. My prayer for all of them is that they will be one, just as you and I are one, Father. That just as you are in me and I am in you, so they will be in us, and the world will believe you sent me. I have given them the glory you gave me, so that they may be one as we are. I in them and you in me. all being perfected into one. Then the world will know that you sent me and will understand that you love them as much as you love me. Friends, we are the beloved of God, but we have a task in loving God, and that is to love one another. That is how we're here to do it. We're all the beloved. So when you see another, you can acknowledge God in him or her. You are called to acknowledge God in them. And you can do so by using the Sanskrit word of namaste or namaskar, which simply means, the divinity in me greets and salutes the divinity in you. God in me sees and greets God in you. The light that I am sees and greets the light that you are. The truth that is in me greets and salutes the truth that is in you. The peace that is in me sees the peace in you. The love that's me sees the love in you. It's a blessing that we're here to see in one another and to share with one another. And I believe that if we could recognize and see only God in the sacred other and act upon that, we'd bring heaven on earth in an instant. In an instant. So remember the phrase that we've been working with is, this is the time and we are the ones. This is the time for us to be the expression of God, to be the expression of good in the world, to be the light of the world. And so tomorrow, as you have your day on, not your day off, but your day on as you celebrate and honor Dr. King's birthday, I ask that you commit to doing at least one act for another. I don't care if it's sending flowers to your neighbors or picking up their newspapers off the lawn, letting somebody in at the traffic light. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be great, but you must do something for another so that you can truly be a blessing and let your light shine. We want to be the beingness of God in the full manifestation, because that's what we're called to do. And so I honor you. I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful for you. And to our YOU, I see the light of God in you. I'm excited about our future because I know you will bring the truth into being. So let's get busy blessing, because God is in the blessing business, right? Let's be blessed. Namaste and namaskar. Blessings. Blessings. Blessings.